Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Wolfner.
It's Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the Gametolove Podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully. Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. The US Open is finally here, and they don't do the draw normally over the pond. They just do it behind closed doors, and then we discuss it, but we'll talk more about that later. How you doing, JG? Ready for some Grand Slam action?
Yes, extremely ready. It seems like a long time since we saw Roland Garros and Wimbledon. The Australian Open seems like years ago. It doesn't even seem like this year. So much has happened this year. But here we are, the final slam of the year, the US Open. Carlos Alcaraz, the reigning champion on the men's, eager on the women's. Let's see how the draw looks. So I'm looking on Twitter as we speak, because of course, as I did a video earlier, it was done 7 minutes ago, but it's not broadcast live. So we're going off what we're being told. And the big news to start off with, I don't know if we want to bring up maybe some of the routes for the big players.
Well,
I know you've got this
draw.
Yeah, but let's go through some of the big players first, 'cause that's what everyone wants to know about. And that's Carlos Alcaraz's US Open draw. And I can confirm Medvedev is on his half. So we have Medvedev on the half of Carlos Alcaraz. Yep. That's terrible news for Daniel Medvedev. He would have preferred to been on the Djokovic half, because I feel he's got a chance of beating Djokovic, but just doesn't with Alcaraz. Alcaraz has Koepfer first round, either Harris or Pella second round. Third round, Evans or Van der Zandschulp. Fourth round, Norrie, Griekspoor, Kokkinakis. A quarter final of Sinner, Zverev, Dimitrov, and or Wawrinka. So Sinner and Alcaraz could be a quarter-final matchup. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like it much. You got Medvedev on that side, and a semi-final of Medvedev, Rublev, or Hurkacz, and a final, Djokovic, Rune, Tsitsipas. Initially, looking at this, you've got to say Djokovic has a really, really nice draw. And I'm just pulling up Djokovic's now. We've got Sasa Osmo, who tweeted it out. I don't know if you want to pull that up, Ben.
Okay. Do you want to ping it over to me? And
I pinged them all.
Oh, have you? Okay, let me just go in there.
So I pinged the other one as well. Sorry, I thought you had it on the screen. But the Sasa Osmo one is quite cool, because this is Novak Djokovic's, and it's just... This is the first time I'm seeing it, of course. It's so easy. No offense. You've got Muller first round, Zapata, Morales or Quinn, Zhe or Nakashima, Felix or Cerundolo, both players not in good form right now. Tsitsipas or Fritz in the quarterfinal. A semi-final of Rune or Rude. Rune, you maybe could trouble Djokovic, but Rude certainly can't. And then the final of Alcaraz-Medvedev. Alcaraz has the tougher draw, that's for sure.
Most definitely. I mean, with Sinner, that was the big one, wasn't it? We were looking for where Sinner and Medvedev fell. They both fall onto the side of Carlos Alcaraz, which is ridiculous. Terrible for him. And Djokovic, yet again, seems to have come up smelling of roses in this draw. I'm sure he won't be minding looking at that. Like you said, the only people that could trouble him, I think, maybe Holger Rune and Alcaraz. There maybe Medvedev, but if any of them get there. And then we've got Felix in no sort of form. If he was to suddenly be in like amazing form, I'd say, wow, Felix is a tough one. But at the moment, not at all. So we can't even look at it.
It's the best player you could possibly ask for. In fact, he won't play Felix in the fourth round, because I don't see him getting that far. Cerundolo's having a bit of a wobbly few months as well. It's just a crazy draw. Like, he'll walk to the quarterfinals with his eyes closed. And I don't think Tsitsipas is nowhere near the level, especially at the US Open, to get close to Djokovic. He's not filling me with much confidence. Fritz has the ability to do something. He's come very close against Djokovic once in the slam. Will he? I don't think he's the player who's going to get one over in Djokovic. So, yeah, Djokovic fans watching this, I'm sure they are very, very happy because he's got a very nice draw.
Here we go. We have a look at Alcaraz's one now, as you can see there. Koepfer, we've got Harris Orpea, Evans, Van der Zandschulp, Norrie. Like, I feel like up until the quarters, fairly plain sailing, I reckon, for Alcaraz there. But like you say, even those four that it could potentially be in that quarter-final are all pretty good players. I mean, probably been a bit generous to Wawrinka there, putting him in there. But Zverev, Sinner, for sure, they're two tough matches. And then semi-final, I'd say Hurkacz. Yeah, that's a person you probably wouldn't want to be facing either. Very good play. He's actually had good matches against Hurkacz, well, recently. Tough. But where's Tommy Paul in the draw? Because by the looks of it, he's avoiding him.
Yeah, he's not in there probably due to the seeding, so he's not been included in this graphic. But Hurkacz, like you say, he's one to watch at the US Open. You could maybe argue the case that he's the fifth favourite. So it's a really tough player to get. Like, I'd put Hurkacz above a Tsitsipas, maybe above a Rune, above a Rublev, I think, at this US Open. He's got so much pedigree playing on the hard courts of America that it's hard to ignore him. And it's just terrible luck for Carlos Alcaraz looking at this. There's a few other tweets coming out. We've got the full draw here. I don't know if you want to go through that graphic for the full draw.
Is there a full draw graphic? Okay, yeah, I'll bring it up. Just give me.
Yeah, it's not as good as the. I can get all the quarter ones actually. If you'd rather.
I've got the women's quarter ones. If you've got the men's quarter one, if there's a thread, ping me that.
No, but like, I'm talking a nice one.
Yeah. Like, I'd like to see a real nice, not that. Yeah, that PDF one is not the nicest to look at.
I've sent you one which is brilliant, which you're gonna love.
Okay, I love that one.
So I don't know if you've seen it, but
is that on the thread? Has it got like all of them on?
It's got all of them on.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I can just go all the way down.
So the four quarters we have, obviously, we'll start with the men's. The women's is being released as we are talking, so we'll go through that when it's fully there. But we've got the Alcaraz quarter, we have the Medvedev quarter, the Rune quarter, and the Djokovic quarter. With the Rune and Djokovic being on the bottom half, and the top half being Medvedev and Alcaraz. Yeah. And I don't know if you've got it. Let's start with Carlos Alcaraz. So let's assess this. So unseeded players, is there anyone of note? Of course, the first name I'm drawn to, Andy Murray, in this quarter of Carlos Alcaraz, unseeded, dangerous. He's one of my players to watch for the event. He's got the ability to go for a few rounds. In the same category, Stan Wawrinka. If you want to talk about Murray, you've got to talk about Stan as well. Another player who's won Grand Slams, who has the pedigree to do big things at the US Open. Yeah. And he knows how to navigate his way through a Grand Slam. So Stan Wawrinka, Andy Murray, they're two dangerous, unseeded players who everyone's going to want to avoid.
Most definitely. I know that we're sort of looking or brushing past this little section here. But he obviously lost a set recently to Jordan Thompson, Alcaraz, didn't he? I know maybe that was just like a little bit of a wobble. Dan Evans not been in bad form either. I still don't think he has the power to challenge someone like a Carlos Alcaraz. But unseeded, Kokkinakis, maybe. I mean, if he serves well, I mean, he could get through into like the fourth round potentially with that little section. It's not the worst section for Kokkinakis. I mean, Norrie probably be thinking the same, though. Norrie's been having a terrible time recently. So this little section, make or break him, because he's got a good section. If he doesn't get through, he could lose to Shevchenko, in all honesty. But no way of really being able to tell.
For me, is the most informed player in that little bit there.
Yeah, he's good.
But, yeah, you'd have to say Alcaraz should be okay for the initial batch. It's on the other side. Either the Zverevs, the Andy Murrays, the Stan Wawrinkas. I don't see Stan or Andy Murray beating Alcaraz. I think they're not as mobile enough. They need to be a bit younger and a bit more agile to defeat Alcaraz. Zverev has ability to, if everything's firing for him. Certainly, Yannick Sinner, he goes toe-to-toe with Alcaraz, and it's just an awful draw for him.
Not the best draw for Zverev there. I know that Vukic has actually been in amazing form recently. He came sort of out of nowhere. We know he's normally a qualifier and normally does pretty well in the qualifying. but normally very low down the rankings. And just recently, he got to the final, didn't he? I think he lost to, was it Fritz in the final in Atlanta, something like that. So he's actually in pretty good form. Zverev, he's actually got to the semi-finals of Cincinnati, so not doing too bad himself as well. But if we go down to this one as well, we know that Jannik Sinner, he's been having to face Daniel Altmaier a couple of times in slams, I believe. And obviously he went out in Roland Garros to Altmaier. If Altmaier puts it together, he's actually a pretty decent player. Will we see it here? I mean, it'd have to probably get past Zverev. I mean, it's unlikely. But could be a bogey player for the likes of Jannik Sinner, and I'm sure you wouldn't want to see Altmaier on the other side of the net again, because it's someone he's expected to beat and someone that he knows can beat him, which is that's like the worst case scenario. You can't even if you win, you're expected in that matchup. So should we move down to the next one?
Yeah, for sure. We've got Gene in the live chat. How are we doing? Shout out to our Mino as well. Good to be live speaking to you guys. And Gene says, feels Greek sport, good match. Yeah, that is an exciting one.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too soon for Fields. I reckon Greek sport will do it.
Yeah, I think Fields has just lost.
Altmaier pushed Sinner to 5 sets here at the US Open last year.
Yeah, that's it. And then he beat him at a Roland Garros because wasn't it 5 sets both time they played as well? I think
doesn't
something
seem
like
to
that.
get on with him.
No, really, really a problem player for Jannik Sinner. So, Attila Balazs is the first match up for Daniel Medvedev. I think that'd be the easiest match for him. Probably wipe him off the court. Probably only drop about 4 games, I reckon. Yeah. And looking down, Chris O'Connell's not a walk in the park, though, and neither is Max Purcell.
Yeah,
so,
I think it is for Medvedev.
Max Purcell took a set off Alcaraz recently. So
I don't see either of them troubling Medvedev at all. I think they'll all be straight sets, whoever he plays. I think the questions will be asked afterwards. Nishikori. I love Kai Nishikori. Don't think he'll trouble Medvedev, but I think he's value for a set maybe if everything goes brilliant. If he can get through there, because there's some tough players there. Jarry, one of my favourite players on tour. I think he's been a top 10 player this year. Argue with yourself about that one. He can play on any surface, and Jarry's having the season of his life. I mean, he's a seed now, and no one will want to play him. I can see him cleaning that bottom section.
Well, he's got Van Ascher, a clay court player from France, and then either Ramos Vinolas or Mickelson, the young US player there, the wild card. We got Yibing Wu up against Lajovic down there, and De Minaur down in this little bottom section though. So that could be on course for a Jarry De Minaur. So
that would be exciting. That's an exciting match. And of course, De Minaur is not a player Medvedev likes because he lost to him last time they played.
Exactly right. And there's Gael Monfils I see on this other side. And could that be bad news for Andrei Rublev? Because Rusevori has been in good form as well. That's not an easy first round matchup for Rublev.
I mean, that is not a good draw for Andrei Rublev. Let's speak about that quickly. The 8th seed, he's got Monfils, a Schwartzman who I don't think is really good.
Berrettini potentially.
But Berrettini is the unseeded. A Berrettini and a Monfils and a Rusevori for Rublev is not great news at all.
And then potentially a Hurkacz, maybe.
Yeah, as Gene says, Rusevori's just beat Rublev at Cincinnati.
This is it. I mean, say no more. It's just a terrible draw. Monfils in good form. Rusevori just beat him. Berrettini, one of the biggest servers on the tour. Humbert back to form. Hurkacz looking good. Jack Draper's back as well. Big server. We got John Isner's last ever tournament. Big server up here.
Khachanov.
What's he? Is he even playing? I mean,
he is playing.
Is he? I mean,
I don't know. Have you picked him as one of your players?
He's giving me the rope-a-dope at the moment. I mean, he hasn't played since...
Where did he get? Semi-finals last year.
Yeah, he hasn't played since Roland Garros, though. So is he going to play?
He's a big match player. He's a semi-finalist, Ben.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything other than Grand Slams, but he missed Wimbledon, didn't he? So I don't know what's going on.
Jerome in saying Big John could make a run. Could we see some special Big John
farewell
serving in New York?
Is it going to be as big as Serena's send-off? That's what I want to know. Is everybody just going to be willing him to win and go all the way through? Most aces ever in history.
If we get Big John versus Hurkacz, are we getting 5 tie breaks?
I thought you were going to say, I'll be covering it.
I'll be there. I'm going to
Yeah.
be there for every single tie break
We've got
between
Albot
Hurkacz
in there.
Isner.
What about Albot Isner? That'd be
Straight
one of
out.
yours. Yeah, this top section, I'm sorry, it's not really like setting me on fire with fun matchups. We got big server, big server, big server Mo, big server Draper, Albot.
Oh, come on. Draper's more than just a big serve.
No, he's good, but he's not been in any form. And if it's hot, then I worry for him. Anybody else? I think that this is that section done.
Schwartzman's got a big task, doesn't he? With their big servers. He's got like the biggest, tallest people to try and get through.
Well, he was doubles partner, wasn't he? But that was with Opelka, wasn't it? Wasn't with Isner. Or was it with Isner? I think it might have been with Isner. Anyway, let's move down to the next section. I'm not going to waste any more time on talking about really tall people. Right, while JG has just quickly gone, let's have a look, because I was saying, where is Tommy Paul in the draw? And here he is. And he is in the section with Casper Ruud and with Holger Rune. And not a bad section. There's quite a lot of good unseeded players, though, by looking at this. I mean, if you have a look here, he's going to be playing a qualifier, which I'm sure he'll probably get past. We've got Casper Ruud playing a qualifier. Let's have a look at Casper Ruud's little section, because sometimes he gets a bit fortunate with his draws, Casper Ruud. And, well, he ended up in the final last year, didn't he? So that obviously it's not all luck. It's just he has to play well. He has to still beat good players. So here we go. Right, so we've got Casper Ruud qualifier. JJ Wolf or Zhang. I expect he should be able to get past them. We've got Hijikata, Kotov, Vucevic or Korda. I mean, Korda's not really been in much form, but it's not the worst little section for him. Let me know in the live chat. What do you reckon on Korda's little section here? Do you think he can get past the potential Vucevic and then Casper Ruud? I think there's a possibility there if he actually comes back to a bit of form. Let's move down in this little section, in the Ruud half of this. We got Manarino there. I'm actually shocked Manarino's up into 22nd in the seeds, to be honest. So he's obviously come back to a bit of form. We got Gasquet Marazan. Well, Gasquet's backhand the other day was just on fire. So Marazan needs to mind his P's and Q's there. And we got Offner. Go on, Offner. Not the worst draw. Nuno Borges. I'm sure that, Jose Morgado will probably be saying the other way around. Nuno Borges is not the worst draw. Offner around 50 in the world at the moment, though, after his good run at Roland Garros. TFO. Wow. There's a big name. Did well last year semi-final. So, Gene saying Korda is finding some form in Winston-Salem. And Jerome saying, is team back? Well, we'll get to team in a second. We've got TFO. I reckon TFO could clean up this whole section, to be honest. It's not bad for TFO at all. It looks pretty good. I feel that he'll fancy his chances against all of those players. Moving over to Runa's side, we got over here. So, who have we got? So, we got Kobayas Bainer. The second round could be tough, actually. Karatsev or Lehechka. That's a really good first round match, though. I really like that. I mean, Karatsev, not really been in much form, but if he was to turn it on, we know how good he can be. And Lehechka, solid. Ben Shelton in this little section here, and could get past Cashin. I expect him to get past Cashin. And Bublik Team. Ooh, first round. And interesting about that is they're both Fantium players as well. The invest in a tennis player. I don't know how they'll feel about that, because obviously all of the players, it's a part of the prize money. People own shares in those players. So one person will be going out early. Right, Fokina in this section as well. Dominic Thiem, though. I think he could potentially get past Bublik. I'm not that confident with it, but if Bublik has an off day, which he custom does, I feel that he could get past Bublik. And then we could have but I don't see Thiem doing too much. I don't think Thiem's back. I don't think Thiem's in any sort of form. I don't think that he would be able to beat someone like a Holger Rune. So I'm not going to waste too much more time on teams. Sadly, I don't want to be disrespectful. But this section looks like we're going to tee ourselves up for a Tommy Paul, Davidovich-Fokina matchup, which, yeah, sign me up. That one sounds exciting. Is Fokina's back healed? I mean, I'm ruling out Giron, and every time I do that, Giron wins. So, knowing my luck, that'll probably be what happens. Safulan, he was the last shock unseeded player to go deep in a slam, made it to the quarterfinals. Could he make another run? Never rule him out. And move all the way down to the bottom here. So Holger Rune could be meeting potentially Francis Tiafoe, I reckon. That's the most likely. Let me know in the live chat, who do you think is the most likely quarterfinal, or who would you like to see in the quarterfinal? Do you want to see Tommy Paul versus Francis Tiafoe? I mean, that would be a battle of the Americans. I'm sure they would love that over there in the States. Or would you prefer to see Casper Ruud, Holger Rune with the battle of the Scandinavians instead? Snail going for Paul versus Tiafoe. Yeah, like that. Gene wants to see that one as well. Yeah, exactly right. And Snail also saying, Karatsev, Lehechka, great match if Aslan turns up. Adrian saying, not expecting much from team, I'm afraid. I'd love my expectations to be proven wrong, which is simply optimistic for team at this point. Yeah, I agree with you totally on that one. Right, move 3 spaces sent. Alcaraz has an easy draw. He owns Medi. Well, he's got Sinner in the section as well, so let's not overlook him. Let's move down to the last section. This is Novak Djokovic. That's right. And you can see, should we start down from Djokovic's little bit down here in this bottom corner? Let's have a little look. So we've got Djokovic, Muller, and then we got Quinn. I think it's Ethan Quinn. And Zabata Morales. Qualifier, Jair Nakashima. I mean, that whole section. If Djokovic drops a set, I will be surprised. And especially in the form he's in. I mean, it's not like he's coming in bad form. It's coming in electric form. Djokovic coming into this tournament. It is incredible. Felix at the top here. I expect him probably to lose to McDonald. That's my personal opinion. Delian probably will go out to the qualifier. Vesely. Cerundolo. I actually quite like Cerundolo's chance here to get to a 4th round. I think we could potentially see Cerundolo versus Djokovic 4th round. That would be very, very good for Cerundolo, but I think that'd be the end of the line for him. On the other side, we have Stefanos Tsitsipas against Milos Raonic. Oh my word. He doesn't get done any favours, does he, Stefanos Tsitsipas? And every time he seems to go to a tournament these days, there's always a person there to give him an excuse to go out early and hang out with Badoza. So let's wait and see on that. Roxana saying Vesely has beaten Novak before. Yeah, I mean, but come on, clutching at straws. He's going to have to get past this little section first. Don't really see that happening. Let's have a look down here. Right, so if Tsitsipas, well, I think Raonic could do him, to be honest. I think Raonic's great on these indoor hard courts. Outdoor hard courts, sorry. I just saw a bad message. Apologies. Give me 2 seconds. We got Poprin. That's another tough match. He's in good form as well. Should he go past the qualifier? Tsitsipas sort of got his work cut out for him in this section. It's pretty horrible. And Chris Eubanks. Oh, it's terrible. Tsitsipas just can't seem to avoid him in draws at the moment. He's always a couple down from where Tsitsipas is in the draw. Chris Eubanks, not a good draw for Tsitsipas, especially in America as well. Gene agrees. Popper a dangerous player. Yep, very dangerous. Moving down, we've got Musetti. Not bad little section for Musetti, to be honest. He could probably get past 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round. I mean, if Fritz doesn't get to the 4th round, something's seriously wrong, to be honest. And up the top, Tsitsipas going to have to play very well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tsitsipas in a 5-setter, maybe 2, before he even gets to the 4th round. And there, if he gets to the quarterfinal, we'll have to play Novak Djokovic most likely. So that's not good at all. Oh dear. What can you do though? Let's pop up the projected ones based upon seeds. These are the projected quarterfinals. I'll pop them on the screen for everyone to see. Let me know if you agree with them. Do you think which ones of these do you think are the most likely to happen, and which ones do you think just aren't happening? So we'll go down. We've got Carlos Alcaraz versus Yannick Sinner. We've got Daniil Medvedev versus Andrei Rublev. We've got Casper Ruud versus Holger Rune, and Tsitsipas versus Djokovic. Well, I'm going to give my honest opinion. I think we're probably going to get one of them. That's it. And Gene's going with the same. I bet 3 of them won't happen. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think the top one is the most likely. Sinner, Alcaraz, they're the 2 players who have been in form recently. Obviously, will let Sinner off for his early exit in the last tournament. Probably a bit overwhelmed winning his first Masters in Toronto. But, yeah, Rublev's got a real tough draw. Medvedev, I'm not so sure. And we've got Casper Ruud. Can he do it again? I mean, I always write him off and he always seems to be there. Holger Rune, do we give him too much credit, maybe? I'm not sure. But I think the one thing that we're all looking at the bottom is Novak Djokovic. I expect him to be in that quarterfinal and that semi-final. And most likely in the final. But it's a long way to go. And we should probably take a look at some of the women's as well. Let me know. Keep writing your comments into the live chat. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Do you think it's unfair? Do you think there's some conspiracy? It's done behind closed doors. But then again, if it was done behind closed doors, then that would completely ruin any of the conspiracy theorists against Novak Djokovic when they weren't letting him into the US due to the vaccine and all of that type of stuff. Or maybe it's payback. They didn't get him in, so now he gets a nice draw. Do you reckon that's how it works? I'm not so sure about that. Well, we got Snell saying, I think Sinner might make us wait for an Australian, wait until the Australian for Carlos versus Novak. Well, it's possible. But do you see Sinner, if he gets past Alcaraz, making the final? Or do you think he gets past him and then he goes out in the semi-final? That's the real question I think we've got to look at there. But anyway, let me just have a look to see if I can pull up some of these Well, Gene, if you're... well, I know you're in the live chat. If you've got any of the paths for the women that you want to ping over, feel free to send them over and I will just go through the actual draws and then I can bring them up if there are any at all. I mean, JG's been called away on an emergency, unfortunately, so I will be taking us through this probably till the end, I would think. So, all right, yeah, Gene, send it over if you do have that information and I will bring up the women's. So, we'll go through the top first on the women's, and it will be none other than the world number 1, Iga Swiatek. That is right. She is at the top of the draw. Let me just squidge it down a little bit so we can all see. And we've got... Right, so we got Iga versus Peterson in the first round. Don't mind that whatsoever. Feel that that's a nice, easy win for Iga. And, yeah, Gene said, I already sent you the women's. I meant the roots. Like, if they've just got anyone's tweeted just the roots. But it's fine, mate. You don't have to. It's, I just wondered if you had them to hand. You could ping them over. But if you don't, it doesn't matter, man. It's not the be-all and end-all. I can just go through this draw and we can just see. So, Iga Peterson, easy. Potentially Saville next round, I'd say. I reckon that's probably easy as well. Cocciaretto, maybe, or Kovinic in the third round. I mean, not bad draw so far for Iga. If we move down, who could she potentially have if it was a fourth round and then the bottom up? Well, it's not bad at all, is it? I mean, look at this. Ostapenko's the only real name that jumps off the page. Kudermetov is not in any sort of form. We got Ostapenko, Paolini. I mean, Ostapenko looks like the one who probably should make it all the way through there. I mean, Avanesian, maybe, if she has another good run. But, yeah, I mean, looking at that, Iga's route to the fourth round looks pretty good. Route to the quarterfinals, sorry. And could be potentially Ostapenko fourth round. And then a quarterfinal matchup could be, let's see the other side here. So we got Petra Kvitova on the other side. She's up against Buxa first round. Wozniacki with the wild card. She's up against a qualifier, so that'll be good for her. She might be able to make it through. Who else have we got? Jem Brady in quite good form recently as well. She's back. Lynette, that could be there for the take-in from Sasnovich. Anybody else? I mean, Coco Gauff. Oh, there's the name. There's the name. Snail saying Gauff and Ostapenko for Iga. Not a joke. Yes, and there's the big name that we were waiting for. Coco Gauff. She'll probably be a bit frustrated that she's probably got to play Iga in a quarterfinal, it would look like. But look who Coco may have to play again first. Mila Andreeva is in a potential second round matchup. Danielle Collins is also in Gauff's section. Ooh, Gauff has a little... Just going to have to battle through this to come through to even make it to the quarterfinals. And she could even have to get through Petra Kvitova as well. That's not a real easy side. I mean, Iga's side, I think, is probably a bit easier. Ostapenko would be the toughest. Will she even make it there, though? Someone might take her out beforehand for Iga. You never know with Ostapenko. Well, it could be a new saying. You never know with Ostapenko. But Coco Gauff, Iga, that would be exciting. I mean, that's the match everybody wants to see again. It was exciting in Cincinnati, and I would love to see that match again. Snail saying, can Ben's surprise package beat Gauff? I think they played fairly recently, to be honest. I think Mila Andreeva got bageled by her. But she's always learning every day. Mila Andreeva, very young. And I still think she could probably give her a good match. Could she beat her? That's part of me feels like that's quite a big ask, really, for Andreeva in this young stage of her career. But never say never. Coco Gauff obviously came onto the scene young in a slam, and who's to say that Andreeva won't be able to do the same in this US Open. Let's move down to the next section. Oh no, and this is obviously still in Iga's half, and it is Yelena Rybakina. So on Iga's side, we will have Ostapenko, Gauff, and Rybakina. So those are the potential fourth round, quarterfinal, and semi-final. That is tough. I mean, Rybakina Kostyuk, but Rybakina had a bit of an injury recently, and we can see also in this section Mukova, which somebody who's been going deep into a lot of tournaments of late, and is definitely one to watch. She's the 10th seed. But let's have a look at Rybakina's little section first, and we'll go through this second section. Kostyuk first round. Tomjanovic, I mean, not seen much from her recently. Potential second round. Kalinska, we've got Surstaya maybe as a third round there for Rybakina. And then a potential fourth round. I mean, this bottom section, for me, probably Azarenka over Bencic, I would say. Bencic and Azarenka, potential third round match. And then I'd probably favour Azarenka, if I'm perfectly honest. She obviously made the final here before. And on the other side, Maria Sakkari. She's there on the other side and could face a potential fourth round matchup with you-know-who, Mukova again. That's if both of them actually make it there. We've got Haddad Meyer in Mukova's section. Keep an eye on her. Sloane Stephens, Haddad Meyer. That's a popcorn first round match for me, especially being in the US. Yeah, Gene pointing it out. Let me know which matches from the first round do you really like the look of. Write them in the live chat. Moving down on this Sakkari section. So let's see how Sakkari, how would she have to play, or who would she have to play, and how would she have to play to get through this section. So Masalova first round, expected to beat her. Baindl or Schmeidlova second round, winnable. Kalinina, Wang or Sorribes Tormo. Yeah, see her beating all of those. I think fourth round, if she doesn't make the fourth round, going to be terrible tournament for Sakkari. And I feel like Mukova or maybe Stevens could make a run. Not sure. Haddad Maia, yeah, up in the top. So Rybakina could be facing... I think Rybakina, surely if she plays well, she can get through to the quarterfinal, and she will have to face Mukova, Sakkari, maybe Haddad Maia. And that sort of wraps up that section. So Rybakina, obviously, a semi-final could be Iga Swiatek. So that is the top section. Let's have a look at the bottom section, shall we? Let's go down. And the next section is, do we call this? It's the Pegula section. Pegula been in great form. Let's go down to Pegula first, because I don't want to disrespect her by going through the top bit. And, Camila Giorgi first round. That's a very unpredictable first round, it has to be said. 1 second, bit of water there. And we've got Marino versus Tig. I feel if she gets past Giorgi, though, a potential third round with Svitolina, that could be entertaining. So Pegula could face Giorgi, Marino, Svitolina, and then, well, this little section's really entertaining. We've got Samsonova and Madison Keys in the same small section that could be on a collision course to a third round matchup. And then the winner of that potentially playing Pegula, I'd say, in the fourth round. So most maybe Madison Keys. Maybe we'll get a Keys-Pegula fourth round matchup, both the Americans. And then on the other side, who could meet them in the quarterfinal? We've got Garcia at the top. Not really the strongest section there for Garcia. I mean, Peyton Stearns will probably like her chances in this section. Garcia facing a qualifier. Balter and Parry. Don't see them troubling Garcia. I think Stearns could probably get past Tomova. And Tauson Potapova. That's an interest. That's one of my sort of popcorn matchups as well. Pop that one in there. I like Tauson Potapova. I think Tauson could get past her, to be honest. And Tauson has a real chance at a fourth round. Stearns will be looking at that and thinking she does as well. Garcia, no better opportunity. If you want to come back to form, do it now. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Right, move to the bottom of this section. And, this is a tasty little section. Who they could meet in the fourth round from the top. We've got Alexandrova versus Leylah Fernandez first round. Tough for Fernandez. That's not an easy one, but I still think it's winnable. Andreescu up against Sorenko. Still winnable. Sorenko, funny player though. Can sometimes pull out big result here and there. And we got Vondrousova, the Wimbledon champion. She's in this little section as well. She's just made the quarterfinals in Cincinnati, I believe. And she could be a potential... Is that third round matchup against either Andreescu? We could have Andreescu versus Leylah Fernandez, an all-Canadian second round match there. And then the winner play Vondrousova in the third. We could have... I mean, that whole section is just up for grabs. I mean, Pegula... She should be able to clean up her section up until the quarters. And Vondrousova, I feel that she should be able to... If she can harness some confidence, Vondrousova should be able to do it as well. But maybe, like Jerome says, Stearns could make a run. Why not? We're in America. I feel like I'm all for it. I feel that there could be like a homegrown talent that does well in this year's US Open. I've just got that sort of feeling. That's why all of my surprise packages are mainly Americans. I don't know. I've gone big on the young Americans on this US Open. So, these are the people who make the quarters. I think it could probably Vondrousova versus... Yeah, probably Vondrousova and Pegula, to be honest. And to play them in a potential semi-final. This is the Saba section. And look who she has as a potential quarter-finalist. Ons Jabeur comes straight off the page. So Sabalenka could face Ons Jabeur in the quarter-final. But how would she get there is the question. Zanevska would be a first-round matchup for Sabalenka. And then a second-round matchup would Blinkova or Burridge. I feel that these are both winnable. We've got Dollarhide Burrell Pliskova or qualify. I feel Sabalenka has to get through to the fourth round, surely. And then fourth round, Vekic. We've got Badoza in. They got Sofia Kenin in there as well. And up the top, we got Kasatkina, Alicia Parks. That's another one, another good first round match. Put a little star next to that one. That one we could see some fireworks. Alicia Parks at home in the US up against Kasatkina, though Kasatkina has been playing well of late. Badoza, not the worst little section. We could see Vekic, Badoza. But you never know with this. Vekic probably fancy her chances. And then we could see a fourth round matchup of Sabalenka-Vekic or Sabalenka. Could be any of them, to be honest. Let's go with Sabalenka-Vekic for a fourth round. And then on the other side, we got Jabeur versus Camila Osorio-Solano. And then we got second round, potentially Noskova or Brengel. Tatiana Malia, Petra Martic. Jabeur's little section up until the fourth round looks pretty good. Expect Jabeur to make a fourth round. Move down Balshkova there. Who's in this little section? Krejcikova. I mean, this mini section is probably one of the least strong in the whole one I've seen. Bronzetti, Krejcikova first round. Montgomery qualifier. Strysova, Kanepi, and Qinwen Zheng, Podoroska. So I'm sorry, if Qinwen Zheng doesn't make the fourth round here, that will be a bad tournament. And if Qinwen Zheng gets to the fourth round, could this be a potential quarter-final? Could she take out Ons Jabeur, get to a quarter-final, face Sabalenka? I mean, the way she played against Iga the other day, don't think so. But it was very windy. I will let her off. So we could have a potential Sabalenka versus Pegula semi-final, potentially. I mean, up on this side. Or there's not many others. I mean, maybe Madison Keys. But maybe there's room in this little section for somebody just to make a run. I feel that it's wide open. And Pegula, I don't know, the jury's still out a little bit, but she has been playing well recently. Let me know, what do you think in the live chat of this women's draw? I'll see if I can find some of the routes just so that we can make it look a little bit prettier rather than me just shouting random stuff out at you. Right, here we go. US Open. Let's have a look. So, your boy Ian saying, does Zverev have a shot versus Sinner? Definitely. Definitely has a shot. There's no way that it's just an easy matchup for Yannick Sinner. But we're on to the women's at the moment. You're sort of backpedaling into the men's again. I feel that in this one, Qinwen Zheng, somebody who could have a really good US Open. If she puts it all together, I think this could be like a groundbreaking tournament for her. She's won her first tournament on the WTA. If she was able to get past Ons Jabeur, tough ask. I don't see why not. Sabalenka, I'd say it's probably slightly tougher than some of the others, but she should get to a fourth round. But then from fourth round onwards, as you'd expect, it will start to get a lot tougher. She'll probably be facing, I don't know. I mean, I don't even expect Badoza to do too well, to be honest. Vekic, probably. Snail saying Zheng breakout, possibly true. Any more? We got Gene saying Zheng could do well this tournament, but I expect Sabalenka to make the semis. Yeah, Sabalenka, she's always good for a semi. We'll move back to the top just to have a quick look at Iga's again. Just to let you know who Iga's. I mean, Iga's one, they all look pretty straightforward, if I'm perfectly honest. They don't look too difficult. And the only bad news for Iga is Coco Gauff, really. I mean, Coco Gauff quarterfinal, potentially. And that's not good news if you're Iga Swiatek right now. Will Coco Gauff crumble on the big occasion? We know that she's been to the Roland Garros final already. And we also know that she's now beaten Iga Swiatek on a hard court in America. It's going to be interesting. I feel that Coco Gauff's got... If she's going to get there, she's going to have to do it the hard way. And that's just one thing. Sometimes you have to run the gauntlet to make it worthwhile even winning it. Sometimes, like they say, to be the best, you've got to beat the best. It's not quite the case with some of these people who win slams. I mean, some people win it without even having to play someone good until the final. But you still have to just beat who's put in front of you. And if that is the best that the tournament has to offer, then that's the way it is. Paul Ross is in. How are you doing, Paul? Good to see you. Whoa. Get some H2O in. Right, and just let me know some of your thoughts in the live chat. I just want to hear what you have to say about the draw. I can go through some of your comments now, and we can have a little chat about it. We can go back to the men's again if you want to. I don't mind. We can speak about that. We went through the men's quite comprehensively at the start, but I'm not going to drag this on too much longer. We will put out some other videos where we will give some analysis onto the routes to the final of some of the big players that you want to see, and we will be bringing out a load more news videos, and obviously our draw previews. They will be coming out, I'd say probably it'll either be tomorrow or Saturday. We'll just have to wait and see. I know that JG has some serious bits going on which cannot be moved, so we'll just have to work the schedule around that. So yeah, I think that's what we should wrap it up there. What is the general consensus on this US Open draw? Easy draw for Djokovic. Alcaraz Sinner potential quarterfinal. Iga Swiatek versus Coco Gauff potential quarterfinal in the same half as Rybakina, and on the other side we got Sabalenka and maybe Pegula meeting in the semi-final too. Let me know your thoughts. If you're watching this on repeat, pop them in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, make sure hit a like on this video and subscribe to Game to Love, because we want to have you with us throughout the whole US Open. We'll be covering so many live matches, and we'll be having daily podcasts wrapping up all of the crazy events that go on in New York. So anyway, I'll wrap this one up for now. Sorry that JG couldn't be here, but it could not be helped. And we'll be back as soon as possible. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like. See you soon, everybody. And come on, let the games begin. Come on.